The following is a paid program brought to you by My Philly Lawyer. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the station and its management.
Good morning. Court Radio is now in session. Call 215-227-2727. When you've got legal questions, we've got the answers. This is Court Radio. And now here's your host, Dean Weitzman.
Good morning and welcome to Court Radio. It's Sunday, December the 13th. Can you believe it, folks? The year's almost over. And guess what? It's going to be 72 degrees today. Yep, get your bathing suits on. Hey, listen, I'm taking a motorcycle ride with my posse. We're going out. I'm taking a Harley out for one last ride, maybe. Who knows? It might not be a last ride. I don't think I've ever ridden this late into the season, though. All right, well, in any event, sit back and relax, kick your feet up, and enjoy Court Radio, because we're here live and in the studio with my special co-host. You know her. She's here for talking about domestic relations, child support, divorce, and all those other nasty things that happen when relationships disintegrate. It's Irina Shiloh. Welcome, Irina.
Thank you, Dean. Good morning.
Good morning to you, too. Irene is My Philly Lawyer's very own domestic relations attorney. So if you've got a legal issue on that front and you call the office at 215-227-2727, more likely than not, you'll be chatting with Irina. If you have legal questions this morning, same number, same way. Just give us a call at 215-227-2727. So can you believe this weather? I mean, it's crazy.
The weather is amazing.
Yeah, amazing, I guess. Global warming. I mean, the Earth will be gone shortly, but besides that, I mean, 72 in December. I don't think we're going to see snow probably if we do at all until sometime mid-January.
Just don't jinx it.
Well, a little bit of snow. I mean, our friends up in the Poconos who depend on skiing, they can forget about it right now. They can't even make snow. It's like, you got to go. I think the leaves are still turning colors up there. Anyway, we're developing a domestic relations practice at My Philly Lawyer in addition to what we normally did, which was personal injury and medical malpractice. And it's growing, and we have quite a few clients right now. What's the most common thing that people come to us for on domestic relations?
They come for divorce and child custody, those two.
Okay, divorce and child custody. So let's talk about divorce for a second. What is an uncontested divorce?
Uncontested divorce basically means that when one spouse wants to divorce the other one will not say, well, no, I'm not giving you a divorce. So it really rarely happens that the other person says, I'm going to take you to court and contest the divorce. So a contested divorce doesn't mean that you go to court to have a judge or a master decide the division of assets or child custody or alimony or spousal support. It really means that two people are fighting in court over whether or not they're going to divorce. And that's so rare. I've never had it, and I hope I never do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so, fighting over or negotiating about child custody and support happens in almost every case. But fighting over whether one's going to actually allow a divorce hardly ever happens. And in fact, probably, would I be wrong in saying that if we litigated that issue, we probably would be beyond the 2 years by the time it was decided. And the 2 years is significant. Why?
The 2 years is significant because it's 2 years from the date of separation. So after 2 years, you will be divorced if you ask the court and you say, we've been separated for over 2 years. Now, the separation doesn't have to mean that you move out of the marital residence. You can actually live in two separate rooms, or one person moves to the basement. If there's no relationship, like a couple, like a married couple, and that doesn't just mean intimate relations. It can mean just not showing up to family gatherings, not sharing dinner, not doing things. But you can still do some things together, like take care of the children or share the budget.
So living separate and apart for 2 years, you don't need your spouse's permission to get divorced. It'll happen automatically as long as you ask the court for the divorce. And separation, 2 years of separation can be living separate and apart, or it can be living under the same roof, but in a separate and apart fashion.
Correct.
Okay. So if you have the spouse's permission, if the two spouses say, yeah, this is it, we're done, it's over, how quickly can that divorce happen?
It depends on the county. In Philadelphia, forever. Of course, I'm saying that facetiously, but it after the date of filing for the divorce, you need to serve your spouse. Depending on how quickly that will go, it could happen on the very same day of the filing, or it can happen whenever you find the spouse, whenever they sign the certified letter, or whenever.
That's an interesting point. Serve. I'm not sure it's a legal term per se, and I'm not sure our listeners understand what we lawyers mean by the word serve. But you have to take the divorce complaint and have another adult hand it, in Philadelphia County anyway, have another adult hand it to the person who is the defendant, who is the putative spouse. Hand them the document. You see it on TV, folks. You know, somebody comes and they say, hey, you John Doe? Yes. Here. And he hands him the paper and says, you've been served.
Yes, that's personal service, and it can be done by any competent adult, meaning anyone who's not insane or a minor, or it can be done by the sheriff. It can't be done by your attorney or your agent or anyone working for you. But I think that's not a very common way to serve someone in a divorce process. What we normally do is we send a certified letter with a return receipt, restricted delivery. It's a pretty inexpensive way to serve someone, and you get their signature, and then you just have to file an affidavit saying this is their signature. And
yeah, but wait, what happens? You know, I know a lot of people, they split up, and a decade goes by, and they have no idea where that person lives.
That's a problem.
You have to serve them. You have to serve them, folks. You need to know where the bum lives. If you don't find out where he lives, you can't ever get divorced. What happens?
Well, that's a problem, and you have to do everything that's in your power to find your spouse. It's not as naive. You can't just, some people think that you can just send the letter to their last known address. No, that's not enough. You have to actually serve them. You actually find them, and if you can't find them, no matter what you do, by calling all of their relatives and friends and through Facebook and other social media, you have to ask the court for permission to do it by publication, and only then you can do it by publication.
And I would imagine that gets a lot more expensive. So you got to actually publish, like in the newspaper, the divorce, the fact that you are filing for divorce.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so you serve the person, and 90 days go by, and you've both agreed. So you have to wait the 90 days, like this cooling off period.
Yes, and let me just state, it's not a deadline. Some people think that they have 90 days to sign. It's actually, you have to wait 90 days. So after 90 days, you can wait as many days as you want. But after 90 days, yes, both parties can sign a consent and a waiver within 30 days, and then you submit it to the court. That's the ideal scenario. And then in Montgomery County or Bucks County, it takes a few days, up to a week, for the judge to sign the papers. In Philadelphia, it might take a couple months.
Okay. 215-227-2727. Let's talk to some callers. How about line one? Kelly from Wilmington. Hi, Kelly. Welcome to Court Radio.
Good morning, and thank you. I'm sorry. I'm very happily married, and I don't have any domestic issues this morning.
Hey, no need to apologize for your happiness, Kelly. So what brings you to Court Radio this morning?
Well, I'm very unhappy because I was involved in a four-car vehicle incident on November 2nd. I was the first vehicle hit, and I'm just having issues with the insurance company. Everybody keeps diverting me to somebody else. I was hit first. We were stuck in slow traffic on I-76 heading towards 95, and it's just been a disaster, and my vehicle still isn't fixed.
Yeah.
So I was just going to figure out who was at fault, or do you really think I need to hire an attorney?
Okay, well, I can't tell you who's at fault. And in fact, you bring up a wonderful kind of scenario, which I've recently run into at the office. I had a client, and I say had, she still is my client, but not for long, because it was like a year ago, and I remember the morning clearly. It was a Sunday morning. I had just finished court radio, and I left here, and I'm in an underground parking lot, and I pulled out into the street, and boom, I was going sideways, heading for like the cliff. And what had happened is it had started to rain, and the ground froze over. And it was like one of those flash freezes, and everybody was sliding everywhere. Well, the same morning, there's a 10-car pileup. Cars look like people just dropped them, and they're in all different directions. And nobody knows who hit who first or how it happened. And so I don't know who I'm supposed to sue on behalf of my client, because it can't. Right. It hasn't been, to this day, it hasn't been determined who caused the accident. Well, Kelly, if you're wanting somebody to pay your damages as the plaintiff, as the injured party, it's your obligation to clearly demonstrate who the at-fault party or parties are. Now, if you're not sure, then it's possible, let's say it's a 4-car chain reaction accident, and you don't know if it's the last car that hit into the first car or into the next car, which caused that to hit into, so on and so forth. You could sue all 3 of those cars. And then you have the culpable party in hand, and through litigation, through depositions where you sit down and you take the testimony of all the other parties, you can figure out who's at fault. But the insurance companies don't really have an incentive to do that for you. Right. They're not, I mean, they're going to go with what their insured normally says. So if their insured says, hey, I didn't hit her, I was pushed into her, that's
what he's saying.
Right.
He's saying he was pushed into me, but the damage to my vehicle says otherwise. But I'm just going to go by the police report. But even what the police reports are, I'm still getting the runaround. Right.
And that's not, again, it isn't unusual. Insurance companies, for the most part, my experiences, have really no moral compass, to be honest. And they want to leave as much money in their coffers, and they don't want to make it easy for you to get compensated. That's the bottom line. And so if they can obfuscate, deny, delay, they'll do all of the above until you're ready to pull your hair out. And so the answer is yes. I always think people, and not because I'm a lawyer, not because I make my living doing this. I believe that in order to level the playing field, you need representation. Here's the kicker. You're going to find it very difficult to get representation, if not impossible, if all you're doing is pursuing your property damage claim. In that case, you're probably going to have to go it alone, because lawyers make their fees on these kinds of cases on a contingent fee basis. We only get paid if you get paid, and we're not, it's very expensive to litigate, and so nobody wants to litigate a case over $3,000 in property damage. That's the honest truth. I mean, what are you going to do after spending, $2,000 in legal fees or in costs? You're going to make a $1,200 fee on that case? It doesn't make sense. Right. So if you don't have bodily injuries, then my best advice would be to sue all the parties behind you in small claims court, municipal court, wherever the jurisdiction, the small court of the is it Philly? Did the accident?
Question. We were from 3 different states: New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia, and Pennsylvania. And Delaware. Nice.
But where did the accident happen?
It happened on I-76 eastbound.
In Philadelphia.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can sue in the Philadelphia Municipal Court, and you can sue all of the parties behind you, each of them claiming that they're responsible for your loss. And then they'll all be brought into court, and the court will figure it out, hopefully.
So I just have to go after everyone individually and stop messing with the insurance.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't go. I mean, yes, you go after all of the potentially culpable parties in one lawsuit at one time and bring them all before the court.
Okay.
Good luck with that, Kelly.
It's been a drag into 2016, but thank you so much, and you all have a pleasant New Year. If I don't speak to you again, hopefully not.
All right. Take care and have a great Sunday.
You too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
215-227-2727. We got Irina Shiloh, and we're talking domestic relations. Let's talk to Mildred from Camden on line 4, who's got a divorce question. Hey, Mildred, welcome to Court Radio. Your first-time caller?
Yes.
All right. Stay on the line after we talk to you about your question, and Monica's going to get your address. We'll get you a Court Radio T-shirt.
Okay. My question is, in the state of New Jersey, there's no separation law, but I have to be separated for 18 months.
You have to be, or you have been?
No, I have to be.
Have to be. Okay.
Yes. Saying that I have to have a different address than my spouse before I can file for a divorce.
Every state has its own set of laws. When Irina and I started the show and what we were talking about and what we limit our practice in domestic relations to, while for personal injury, my Philly lawyer is representing people in, multiple of states, okay, not the least of which is Pennsylvania and New Jersey. But on domestic relations, we limit our practice to Pennsylvania. And what we described was the laws in Pennsylvania. There is no uniformity. So New Jersey's laws are going to be different than Pennsylvania's, and Delaware's laws will be different than both of those. So in Jersey, if you're saying, and I honestly, because we focus our practice on domestic relations in Pennsylvania, if you're saying you have to be separated for 18 months, it's very possible that that's the case. And separate, like you described, as in you can't even live separately under the same roof. You have to be separated.
But there's no law, no separation law.
No, in that sense, the same in Pennsylvania. There is no what people say is they want to file for legal separation. I've heard that 1,000 times. You don't have to file. You just get out of Dodge, okay? And then under the law, you're legally separated.
Okay.
So there is no, you file for divorce. You don't file for legal separation.
No, I'm not trying to file for legal separation. I'm trying to file for divorce. But before I can file for divorce, they're saying I have to be separated, but there is no separation law.
Again, you just get out of Dodge. You go somewhere else, and he stays where he is, or vice versa, and you're separated. And then the clock starts to tick. That's the same in Pennsylvania. It's just that our separation only needs to be 90 days.
She's saying before she files, she needs to be separated. I doubt that that's the truth. Probably before you get the divorce, if the spouse doesn't agree to it, you have to be separated, just like in Pennsylvania. But I doubt that before you actually go and file in the courthouse, you have to be separated. I don't believe that that's the case. You just file for a divorce, and then you can separate whenever you are comfortable with it.
Because the truth is that you're entitled as you caused me to talk about something I wanted to talk about, because you're entitled, or someone's entitled potentially, to alimony pendente lite, which is alimony during the pendency of the divorce. So it's not permanent alimony, but it's just alimony while the divorce is in the happening or in the making. And so in order for the entitlement to occur, you actually have to file for divorce. They wouldn't make you wait 18 months to file, because during that 18 months, you may need to have support from your other spouse, and that you'll be entitled to that. Even though you're not yet entitled to officially get divorced, you're entitled to the support issue. So I would check into that again a little more closely. But as far as when can you file? Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
No problem. Stay on the line. Monica's going to get your address. 215-227-2727. Let's talk to Leslie on line 1. Hi, Leslie.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
We're doing fine, thanks. You're from Philly?
Yes.
Okay. Well, welcome to Court Radio. What's your question
Thank
today?
you. The question is, my uncle is newly separated, but he's primarily the caretaker of the home as far as bills or whatever. Now, my question is, legally, if he's not in the home, does he still have to pay all the living costs?
No, the short answer is no. If he left or the wife kicked him out, once he leaves the residence, he doesn't have to pay. But if he makes more money than his wife, then she might file for spousal support.
But Irina is only talking about his obligations vis-a-vis the marriage. The truth is that, let's say that house was in his name or the lease was in his name. Let's say the utilities were in his name. While they're still in his name, there's a contract between him and the other party, whether it's the landlord or the mortgage company or the utility company, and they're going to look to him to pay those bills. Where they don't care where he lives. They don't care what his obligation is under the divorce code. So we don't know, when you say that he's the one who's responsible. If that's the case and it's in his name, then he's going to have to get it out of his name, or he's going to still be responsible to the other party, not to his spouse, but to the other contracted party.
And that was my question. Does he have to still? Okay, so if he gets the utilities and the rent out of his name,
yeah,
he doesn't have to pay.
But the chances of that happening, it's not a given, because if I'm the landlord and I rent it to somebody who has good income and good credit, and that's him, I'm not letting him off the hook just because he says, hey, I don't live there anymore. And so don't expect that to be an easy process. And so, as a practical matter, he may still have to pay that money, or it may affect his credit. And but as Irina was alluding to, and as I was trying to get to on our last caller, there's a practice, if not a law, in Pennsylvania that says during the pendency of the divorce, once it's filed, but before it's actually granted, the higher income earning spouse owes a duty of support to the lower income earning spouse. So let's just throw some numbers around. Let's assume that uncle makes $80,000 a year. And let's assume that his soon to be divorced wife makes $20,000 a year. There's $60,000 which separate their income. In Pennsylvania right now, she's going to get 40% of that difference, of that $60,000, or $24,000 or $2,000 a month in support, as long as they have not yet been divorced. Even if the marriage is a short-term baby marriage for a year or two.
Okay.
So, a lot of people out there don't realize that, and they don't ask for it, and they've been separated, and all they need to do is file the divorce, and boom, they're entitled to some cash from the higher income earning spouse, whether that's the woman or the man, it doesn't matter.
40% is if they don't have minor children. If there are minor children, then there is child support involved, and in that case, it's 30%.
Yes.
And just to clarify, No children. Just to clarify, it's the difference between the net income, so it's not the gross incomes.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, Leslie, take care, dear. Have a great Sunday. Thanks for calling Court Radio, and keep listening.
You too. And have fun on that motorcycle.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
You can get spousal support even before you file for a divorce, but it's not called alimony pendente lite, the fancy Latin word.
Hey, listen, we like a little Latin on Sunday mornings.
We do.
Okay?
It makes us look more smart.
But what do they call it? What you said that you can get it before you file?
Yes, and it's called spousal support. After you file, it's called APL, and after you get a divorce, it's called alimony.
Yes. Now, so you're saying you can file just for support, not necessarily for divorce.
Correct. They have to be separated.
Separated and file for support, but not divorce. Okay. Well, there you go. Nonetheless, following separation, if there's a difference between you and your spouse's income, you might be entitled to some cash. But you're going to need to file something, whether it's a petition for support or a divorce complaint. All right, let's talk to Carol from Northeast Philly on line 3, Lar. Hi, Carol.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
How you doing?
Good.
Finding yourself?
Oh, just wonderful, thanks. Is this your first time calling in?
Yes.
Is this about you or your uncle?
No, this is actually about me.
Oh,
I was
honest.
Yeah, I'm honest.
Okay.
It's about me. Trying to file for a divorce when it's been like so many years that it should have been done long ago, but you don't know where the person is anymore.
We were just talking about that when we opened the show. And, you know.
Yeah, I was at work, so I didn't hear that.
So you knew we were talking about you.
No, well, I didn't even hear it. I was at work.
Oh, okay. Well, we were saying is that you have to find out or make every attempt to find out where your ex, or not yet ex, lives, because you have to serve him with the complaint. He has to receive it. He has to know that you're seeking a divorce. So that's
right.
Notice, due process, and all that fancy stuff. And so, you may have to hire a private investigator to find him. People are findable nowadays. You give them some information, they will track him down. But you're going to have to get an address. Now, it's possible you can file a petition with the court asking to serve him at his last known address. It's also possible you can do it by publication. But all of those methods require court approval and are fairly expensive to get because you have to file a petition. Maybe you'll have a hearing. And so before you even begin the divorce, you're spending money just to get around this service issue. The far easier thing to do is to figure out where he is, whether it's calling old relatives of his, again, or hiring a private eye to track him down using maybe dates of birth and his name, Social Security if you still have it, things of that nature.
Oh, okay.
But you do need to serve him. And then once you serve him, now, interestingly, if, God forbid 1,000 times, you were to pass away tomorrow, do you know that he could take 1/3 of your estate even though you've been separated forever and a day?
Yeah, I know.
He could actually come in if you had a house or a car and you have family you want this to go to, and he could take up to 1/3 his spousal share even though you haven't been together with him. And so I tell people, listen, look, it's over, right? I mean, how long has it been, Carol?
Over 25 years.
You think it's probably over by now, don't you think?
Yeah,
I mean,
I think
you're not
think so.
you're not patching this one up, right?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. So, listen, you live in the Northeast. Where do you live in the Northeast?
Around the Frankfurt area.
Okay. There you go. That's Larry's neighborhood. He thinks he recognizes your voice. Larry, yeah, that's our producer here who's works the board. But in all seriousness, My Philly Lawyer has their Northeast office, and in fact, that's where Irina is headquartered. That's the hub of domestic relations for My Philly Lawyer, and it's on Bustleton Avenue. So not far from you. If you want to begin the process, it's fairly easy. And again, the more information you come with to bring to us, the easier and less expensive that process is.
Oh, okay. All right. Can you give your address on Bustleton?
It's 10819 Bustleton Avenue. It's right at Bustleton and Lawler, Lawler. It's just a short distance above Washington High School on Bustleton Avenue. We have
Okay, yeah, I know. I'm familiar with the area.
Yeah, we have an old bank building, and it's a freestanding building, and it's got My Philly Lawyer plastered everywhere. You can't miss us. And so, you could stop by and chat with Irina and figure out how best to handle this and how to get it done as quickly as possible. What was that?
I said the least expensive way.
Sure. Who doesn't? Who wants to spend more than they need to spend? Not me.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take more from my clients than we need to. So, absolutely, we can help you with this. Give us a call. All right?
All right. Thank you, and you have a good day.
Thanks, Carol. Take care. All right, folks, we're going to be right back, but we got to pay the bills, and we got sponsors who need to be honored. So give us 2 minutes, and we'll see you back here. Call 215-227-2727. We'll answer the calls while we're on break.
For 20 years, Center City Medical Center has provided premium expert medical services for Philadelphia. Whether you need musculoskeletal rehab or an immigration physical, call 888-945-EXAM. Our board-certified physicians have more than 80 years' experience from post-injury rehab to DNA paternity testing. To make an appointment at one of our 3 convenient locations, call 888-945-EXAM. Get premium expert care. Center City Medical Center, serving Northeast, North, and Center City, Philadelphia. If you've been injured on the job and are entitled to workers' comp, you need someone fighting for you from the start. Call Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law. Don't rely on your employer or insurance company to get it right. Call 215-512-1500. If you're entitled to workers' comp or it's being challenged, Jeffrey Gross can help get the money you deserve, and he won't get paid unless you get paid. Call 215-512-1500. Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law, representing Pennsylvania's injured workers for more than 20 years. If back and neck pain keep you from enjoying life, find the relief you need in the hands of Dr. James Brady. Dr. Brady has been providing gentle chiropractic care in the Philadelphia area for over 30 years, helping thousands avoid surgery, reduce pain and pain medication, and recover more quickly. Call 215-245-1000 to make an appointment at one of our 3 convenient locations. Dr. James Brady Chiropractic Centers. Gentle chiropractic care.
You were just hurt. It's not your fault. You're in physical pain. How do you get better? Who is going to help you recover? West Philadelphia Associates has highly trained doctors and staff that can help you today. Don't wait at a hospital. West Philadelphia Associates will work with your attorney, providing documentation of all injuries and the best plan for treatment to get you back to the life you deserve. With diagnostic studies to better detect injuries, West Philadelphia Associates doctors and staff will help you recover. West Philadelphia Associates, here to help you get better because you deserve it. Call 215-471-4714.
The following is a paid program brought to you by My Philly Lawyer. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the station and its management.
Need more legal answers? Here's more Court Radio with your host, Dean Weitzman.
Good morning and welcome back. I'm Dean Weitzman and this is Court Radio. I'm joined in the studio with My Philly Lawyer's own Irina Shiloh. Good morning.
Good morning.
Irina is here because we're talking domestic relations. She flew in from Quakertown. How is that drive down?
It's very nice now at this hour.
When did you start out? At like 5?
No, I woke up at 5.
Okay.
20.
5:20. All right. So, so you come all the way up from Upper Bucks County to get down here to do Court Radio, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think our callers do too, because we got James on the line from Northeast Philly. Hey, James, welcome to Court Radio.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, thank you. And you?
I'm fine. Just leaving work. I'm a little tired.
You go home and take a nap after work, or do you go home and just start doing your day?
Or I go home and not for 3 hours and go to my second job, stuff like that.
Whoa, serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
So you got a custody issue, do you?
Right.
What is it?
Well, she lived in Jersey. I lived in Jersey at that time. My son was 3 years old, and we had a custody for my son up after school, dropped him off, picked him up after the weekend, and we both signed it. Now she moved to North Carolina for the past 7 years. I have not seen my son, but I'm still paying child support faithfully, and all I care about child support. They not care about me seeing my son.
Right. So wait a minute. So she moved to North Carolina 7 years ago. You didn't fight that move, and she and your boy have been down in North Carolina for the last 7 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Much. Now he's 16 years old, but I'm paying child support every time I go to the court in Philadelphia.
Right.
They tell me, you just pay your child support and everything like that. But we had a joint custody that I see him 7 times, and I'm trying to fight it from day one. You got to care about me child support.
Okay, I get it. Now I'm going to give you the answer. All right. The answer is that you probably could have fought her move if you wanted to, because it really interferes with your ability to parent, but you didn't. And 7 years have gone by. And so the jurisdiction for the litigation has transferred. It follows the child. 6 months after the child leaves the jurisdiction, 6 months after, the venue or jurisdiction moves with that child. And so 6 months after your son got to North Carolina, the court that is supposed to hear this case, and you have a legal right to see your son, and you should have, and if you want to exercise that right, you will see him and you will get fair visitation. But that has to happen in North Carolina. While we have a uniform child custody act, that means that every state will enforce and honor every other state's orders with regards to children. However, in this case, North Carolina is where you are going to have to hire a lawyer and file a petition or file your own petition and have a hearing and get a court or a judge in North Carolina to agree with you that you're entitled to see the child and get that order, enforced.
You said they have joint custody. When was this order and where?
Well, it was by agreement, and they signed an agreement in New Jersey, shortly after James left.
Right.
Yeah. And so you could have enforced that order. Okay. But again, because time has gone by, jurisdiction has transferred to North Carolina.
He could file in New Jersey because that's where the order is issued.
I already tried that, and New Jersey said pretty much they gave me the run around. I go to New Jersey, and they said I go to Philly. I go to Philly. They said go to New Jersey.
No. You see, because it wasn't really an order of the court. It was just a private agreement between the parties. And they're not it doesn't have the full effect and power of a court order.
No, we signed that. We signed that in the court. We had it was a court agreement we had in New Jersey that we didn't have a jump.
Signed off by a judge.
Yeah, exactly. We did that right in front of the judge, and she just left. And I've been trying to get in touch with her every time I call North Carolina. She always moving into another state. She always moving to she can't stay in one place. All I want to do is see my son, spend time with him, have parenting time with my son. All she cares about is the money. Make sure you get my money on time.
How old's your son now? He's 16
now, you know what I mean?
16.
So I've been paying it from since we were 3 years old. And I go to Jersey go to Philly, I go to Philly, go back to Jersey, run around.
Irene is correct. If you have a Jersey court order that she's in violation of, you could file in New Jersey for a contempt petition saying that, she's not honoring New Jersey's court order. However, you could also file, and I think the better way to do it is to file in North Carolina. And you may be able to use the Jersey court order in North Carolina and say, here's the last order of record with regard to your son, and she's in violation of that.
I would file in New Jersey. Let her transfer to North Carolina, hire an attorney and all that.
But it told me that I had to go to North Carolina. I have to drive there, then file in North Carolina, and then come back to Philly.
No, file in New Jersey and then have her transfer. Make it difficult for her.
But again, James, you're going to need counsel for this. It doesn't sound to me like something, and you've already run into somewhat of an issue. And sometimes the court's wrong, but they're not going to back down for you. Okay, so maybe Irene is correct. With counsel in New Jersey and that court order, you may be able to have it filed there. By yourself, and the court thinks, they moved down to North Carolina 7 years ago. We don't want to be involved in this, and they just kind of slough you off. But they're less likely to do that to an attorney. So,
and the moment I don't pay my child support, I hear about it.
Oh, of course.
About the money, but they don't care about me spending time with my son. So all that time, I didn't have time with him. Well, I only care about paying your money, make sure your money is on time, make sure you take care of your son, but.
Yeah,
I don't want to see my son spend time with him, do everything else with him, and they don't even care about the parenting time. They don't care about, the
yeah.
check.
Well, support cares about support, but custody is a separate issue, and our duty to support our child has nothing to do with our ability to see our child. However, you're absolutely entitled to see your child, and you should, but you need to file a petition to enforce the order. And the best way to do that for all the domestic relation issues is with counsel. This is the last area of litigation that anybody would ever want to do by themselves because there's so many hard feelings. There's so much angst involved in it. You need somebody who has a clear head, who's separated from the parties and the issues to handle this on your behalf. It really is something you need to have. And if you're, working two jobs, you're a guy who's making money, you really should invest a little bit of that in proper representation. And in this case, as Irina said, perhaps start with a Jersey lawyer. And worst case scenario is you retain an attorney in North Carolina. But, whether it's North Carolina or New Jersey, months after you file this, you're going to see your son. You're going to be with him. Guaranteed. You're his father. You're entitled. Nobody's going to keep you from seeing him. And so you just need to get the petition filed, whether it's North Carolina or New Jersey, because shortly after that, you and him will be sharing dinner together. And so enough time has gone by, you got to retain counsel, though. That's the bottom line, James. Got to get counsel.
Yeah, I needed to. I heard. I was on the radio on my way home. I see have an office on Washington.
Yes, yes.
I probably need that address and stuff, and it comes to closely about other stuff, not just that.
All right. Well, you just give us a call at 215-227-2727. The same number you called for Court Radio. We'll get you hooked up, an appointment, addresses. We'll take care of everything.
All right, man. Thanks. I appreciate it.
All right, James. Be well, and thanks for calling Court Radio.
Yep.
Folks, if you've got legal issues, we probably have the answers. All you got to do is give us a call during the week at 215-227-2727. My Philly Lawyer, not only do we do personal injury and medical malpractice, and we do it often and we do it well, but we're now doing domestic relations. And Irina Shiloh's handling that for My Philly Lawyer, and she's here today in the studio. So if you've got legal issues, give us a call. In the next 15 minutes, we might be able to get you on. But if you missed today, you can talk to Irina on any day by calling the same number, 215-227-2727. Let's talk to Janice from Yeadon on line 5, Larry. Hey, Janice, welcome to Court Radio, and thanks for hanging out and waiting for us. Oh, Janice. I hear her in the background there. And I don't hear snoring, so she's probably not sleeping. Janice? Oh, I'm sorry, Janice. You're gone, girl. Bob, is that a book? A movie? All right. It's a movie and a book. Yeah, it's both. All right. Let's talk to Keith on line 1 from West Philly. I don't think I've spoken to anybody in West Philly for 100 years. Hey, Keith, how are you, bud?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm great, thanks. So
I'm out here though. I've been It took 2 years and 8 months to get my divorce papers signed. Now I'm sitting here waiting on City Hall for my divorce decree, and I've been waiting on that since September.
Yeah,
So
Irina said Philadelphia takes their time. Maybe
it do.
Maybe it'll be a nice Christmas present. But what's the question?
My lawyer told me that they have them all signed by the end of this month. But my thing is that anybody, you got to fight it, or she's never going to get it.
Yeah, that's the truth.
So it's a rough road. I've been down it, and I'm trying to get it over with. I'm just waiting on my decree. I talked to my lawyer, and I'm praying that I get it by the end of this month.
Do you not trust your...
Man, like everybody say, they just taking your money. While you sitting and waiting, they steady getting your money.
Oh, you're paying that support, are you? Huh?
Oh yeah. Well, it's alimony for me because there's no kids. It was I'm paying $97.04 a week, which is almost close to $400 a month that I'm losing.
Now, that'll
she
end.
Work, she was on disability, right?
James,
when I get the paper back.
Yeah, when you get the divorce decree, and it's not alimony. I want to call it right. It's alimony pendente lite, or APL. It's temporary alimony during the divorce process. How long were you married, James?
Keith.
Keith, sorry. Keith.
Yeah, I was married like 7 years.
Yeah. And so really that's not what we would consider a long-term marriage, so you probably will not owe alimony beyond the divorce. But you could be married 7 months and you're going to probably have to pay this APL.
Yeah, it's a dirty game. I advise everybody out there to watch out, man.
Hey, the next time you get married, Keith, you know how to avoid having to pay this support?
How would that be?
You get a
prenup.
You get a prenup. You have the lady sign a document that says, hey, I love you today, but if I don't love you tomorrow and we're heading down divorce row, you're not going to ask me to pay you support while we're working on this divorce. And she can actually sign that, and you won't have to pay this anymore. Prenup. So next time you feel...
I heard of it.
Yeah, next time you feel compelled...
I'm already going to get remarried, but...
Prenup, Keith. Get a prenup.
Yeah.
You remember how much you loved your first wife just before you got married?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you just loved her to death. You couldn't think about living without her.
She was 18.
Yeah, 18, even better. And then things go bad. And now you're paying $100 a week. $400 a month.
Again, yeah, I don't want to go down this road. I'm going to talk to her because my girl, but see, this one works. The other one didn't work. She was disabled. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So this one works. So, I trust this one, man. I really do.
Okay. Well, just remember, you heard it here first.
You trusted the first one. Was she disabled when you got married, when she was 18?
No, that's not the one. The other one was disabled. When I met her, she was disabled, so she claimed,
Yeah.
It wasn't working.
It wasn't working, yeah. Well,
she didn't work at all. She didn't work.
Yeah. Now she's working. Now she's working it. She's working it.
Have to work. She has to work.
$400 a month.
Yeah, she's working me too.
Yeah, you're her job.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I advise anybody out there. You know what I mean?
Hey, listen, you can call my Philly lawyer before you get married and just, seal the deal and get a prenup, and then you don't have to worry about that. And then everybody leaves with what they came with. Nothing.
Right.
All right. Keith, I love you. Thank you for calling Core Radio, brother. All right. Have a great Sunday.
What about my shirt?
Hold on. I called you James. I called you Keith.
Yeah.
You earned a shirt. Okay, you earned a shirt.
Yeah.
Hold on, Keith. Monica's going to get your info. Stay on the line.
Right.
All right. 215-227-2727. We love our callers at Court Radio. We love our clients, but we got to take a break. We got 2 minutes of advertising, and we'll be right back.
For 20 years, Center City Medical Center has provided premium expert medical services for Philadelphia. Whether you need musculoskeletal rehab or an immigration physical, call 888-945-EXAM. Our board-certified physicians have more than 80 years' experience from post-injury rehab to DNA paternity testing. To make an appointment at one of our 3 convenient locations, call 888-945-EXAM. Get premium expert care. Center City Medical Center, serving Northeast, North, and Center City, Philadelphia. If you've been injured on the job and are entitled to workers' comp, you need someone fighting for you from the start. Call Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law. Don't rely on your employer or insurance company to get it right. Call 215-512-1500. If you're entitled to workers' comp or it's being challenged, Jeffrey Gross can help get the money you deserve, and he won't get paid unless you get paid. Call 215-512-1500. Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law, representing Pennsylvania's injured workers for more than 20 years. If back and neck pain keep you from enjoying life, find the relief you need in the hands of Dr. James Brady. Dr. Brady has been providing gentle chiropractic care in the Philadelphia area for over 30 years, helping thousands avoid surgery, reduce pain and pain medication, and recover more quickly. Call 215-245-1000 to make an appointment at one of our 3 convenient locations. Dr. James Brady Chiropractic Centers. Gentle chiropractic care.
You were just hurt. It's not your fault. You're in physical pain. How do you get better? Who is going to help you recover? West Philadelphia Associates has highly trained doctors and staff that can help you today. Don't wait at a hospital. West Philadelphia Associates will work with your attorney, providing documentation of all injuries and the best plan for treatment to get you back to the life you deserve. With diagnostic studies to better detect injuries, West Philadelphia Associates doctors and staff will help you recover. West Philadelphia Associates, here to help you get better because you deserve it. Call 215-471-4714.
The following is a paid program brought to you by My Philly Lawyer. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the station and its management.
Need more legal answers? Here's more Court Radio with your host, Dean Weitzman.
Good morning and welcome back. It's Court Radio, and I'm Dean Weitzman, joined in the studio with my associate, my co-host today, Irina Shiloh.
Good morning.
Good morning. Irina's here because we're talking domestic relations. She heads up the headquarters for My Philly Lawyers Domestic Relations Office on Bustleton Avenue in the far northeast. Hey, a big shout out to Ms. Val, who's a tweeting crazy lady, tweeting all my good stuff. I thank you, Val. And to Corey Q. We got some tweeting going on here, and Monica's spearheading that. All right, let's talk to Kim from West Philly on line 3, Lara. No, gone. All right. Sorry, Kim. We'll come back to you. Carolyn from Teaneck on line 5. Hi, Carolyn.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning to you.
I have been listening to you guys for the past maybe 6 months, and this morning you struck a very interesting nerve that I have about marriage. Well, after you divorce and you've settled and everything and everybody's gone their own way, can a spouse go back and collect alimony?
Once a final divorce is entered, unless there's fraud and somebody lied about something to the court, no. Mm-hmm. It's like you needed to raise that issue in the divorce process, and once the divorce is granted, going back and relitigating issues like alimony is not going to happen.
Well, the issue was raised during the process, but the response was my spouse was not working, had quit his job, and you kind of feel like that had happened because he didn't want to pay alimony down the line. 39-year marriage.
Wow.
And yeah, that's what I said.
Are you divorced formally?
Formally? What do you mean formally? Like, yes. Court-wise, yes.
How long ago?
For 1 year.
How long ago?
After 30 September that just passed made 1 year.
Okay.
We were married 39 years.
39 years. That's not a marriage. That's a life sentence.
which is why I can laugh now. Okay? I'm not angry.
People commit murder get less time than you did, babe.
But, that's why I'm asking the question, because it was a life sentence, and
right, you earned that alimony.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm asking, because there are people who say to me, "Are you kidding me? As soon as he goes back to work and get a job, you need to go back to court."
No,
because
since
the
you
only
are
reason you didn't collect was because he was not working.
no, since you're officially divorced, when it comes to alimony, that ship has sailed, unfortunately for you.
Okay, fine.
All right. Sorry we couldn't be, give you better news, but at least, you know what? It's a final kind of, it's over, and it's time to move on and, find that young spouse, that next one.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, Carolyn, be well, and thanks for listening to Court Radio.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye now. 215-227-2727. Let's talk to Melina from Middletown, Delaware, on child support. Melina.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
We're
Amazing
wonderful.
I got through.
What's your question?
My question is, I had a child support order done a few years ago for my two daughters in New York. And on the order, it states that my daughter's father is supposed to provide health care. I have been fighting with him for months now to try to get him to get some health coverage for these girls. And he's telling me that he doesn't have to get any health coverage because he now lives in Florida. And that's not a part of the order anymore.
Okay, well...
So how do I go... Yeah.
Okay, first of all, this is like a multi-state question. I feel like I'm in law school again.
Yeah.
Where do the children live?
They live with me in Delaware.
Okay. And you said their father moved from New York to Florida.
To Florida, yes.
Okay. And the only order that exists is a New York order.
That's it. Yes.
And how long has he lived in Florida?
I'm thinking maybe 2 to 3 years now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm thinking that jurisdiction vis-a-vis child support has transferred to Florida. But that doesn't mean that the New York order is void, because it's not. It's the only order that exists. And if you wanted to enforce that order, the way to go about enforcing it would be to file a petition in the county in which he lives in Florida. And
oh, wow.
And so, unfortunately, when when the money moves to another state, and that's what he is, he's the money, you gotta file something down in that state, and that would require you getting counsel in Florida.
Okay.
But I agree with you that if the New York order says that he owes health insurance, that he owes it.
Okay. Yeah, it's amazing the stuff I have to go through just for him to take care of his children. Okay, so I have to file in Florida then.
That's where he lives. That's where he lives.
That's where he lives.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, with regard to issues of custody or visitation, that stays where the child is, and you would file those petitions in Delaware.
In Delaware.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you for listening.
No, thank you so much.
Have a great Sunday, babe.
You too.
Bye now.
Bye.
Okay, folks, we're all out of time. The senator and his minions are right behind us. Have a great Sunday and listen to Court Radio. We'll be